Hi. Today we are starting this workshop with a very exciting Pune-based brand called Holy Nails. Along with me is one of the co-founders of the company, Mr. Ajay Sonavane. And, I'm going to ask him as to what his expectation from this workshop is, why franchising Holy Nails, why does he think, the franchise route is a apt route for his company, and, why they've reached out to Sparkle Minds, and what is it that they expect from this entire exercise. Over to you, Ajay.
Okay, I reached to Sparkle Minds. I was trying to find someone who is very professional and who has a good history of handling the franchise basically. So when I googled, actually I found a couple of names actually, but Sparkle Minds. Uh, the Sparkle Minds, the presentation, the website, and the everything which is on the website actually, which was very professional actually. Then I found some of the videos on YouTube as well, and then I thoroughly understood like how do you handle and like which are your old clients, and I went through everything which is on your website actually, and that's how I thought of connecting with you actually. So that's the answer of your first question. Can you just repeat your the other
Yeah, so I'm glad you did your research. I'm glad a lot of clients undergo a lot of research to be able to find the right consultants who can take them through this journey, right experts who can work through them, because franchising your business, and especially franchising your business in India, can have its own complications, can have its own challenges, and once you have a good consultant or a good expert who's going to handhold you, it helps you to structure this professionally, helps you to set up things properly. So the second question that I had is, why did you think about franchising Holy Nails? And then, what is the expectation you have from this workshop?
Okay, why franchising? The answer to this question is basically because I could not stretch myself handling the multiple branches in one city or another actually. So, I don't have a goal to set up only two branches and like sit quiet actually. So I want to expand this business. I want to we have the creativity actually. It's a very niche area, but the domain is not the nail art domain is very common actually, but what we do is very creative, what we do is very unique actually. So we wanted to reach to the wider audience actually, and share our work with them basically. So okay, so we are in Pune only as of now, but we want to reach to the wider audience basically. We want to reach to the other areas as well, and that's why we thought of franchising actually. Now I could have started like multiple branches, and but that is not easy basically. So when you are handling like two branches, when you're handling three branches, it is very difficult to handle the multiple branches because the problems are different basically. So every time when you are into business actually, you are handling everything, right from the management, right from the hiring and everything actually. So you can't do everything in your business basically. So that's why you need someone which will basically which will share the profit as well, and which will share your work as well. So that's the idea of the franchise. That's the core idea of my franchise as well.
Yes,
And
yeah, I think you've really understood this correctly. Especially, service businesses have unique challenges, and then it's very human intensive, it's very human capital intensive, and you end up doing everything all by yourself. And there's a limitation to how many outlets you can do it yourself, and there's a limitation to a lot of things that will come as you scale up. So franchising could be a very good solution to start when you have one or two outlets or three outlets, and you've cracked the code, and you've been able to you become successful. Also, franchising a nail business in India has its own complications. You said it right. The nail art business is very common, but you're doing something very uniquely, and it's time to spread that uniqueness across different geographies. We'll take that forward. So the next part of the question is, you've understood why you want to do franchising. What is your expectation from this workshop? What is it that you want to achieve from this entire exercise that we are going to do from you?
okay, so the first thing that I really wanted to know is like how's the entire model actually? How do you set up the entire model basically? So we know like what kind of machineries, what kind of tools, what kind of technicians or hiring is done actually. So we know everything. from our business basically. But I really want to understand, like, how do you create a model out of this basically? Because this, we are going to replicate this model to everywhere. So it is not that easy. There will be so many, complications in terms of the legal. There will be complications in terms of the, the trademark and everything basically. So there are n number of things which we are not really aware of. It's like a very unique. It's like a very unique thing as well, and it's like something which we are not really aware of. It's a very different domain basically. So I really want to know, like, how do you set up this entire model and how do you sell this model to other people? So that's my expectation from this workshop.
Yes, so that's where our experience will come into play. There are different business models, different franchise models that we do for different companies based on the unique characteristics of that business, the strength of that particular franchisor, and the weaknesses of that particular business owner, that particular organization. You have to consider all of these facts to be sure that the model that you're operating for that particular franchisor is just perfect for them to be able to scale up, perfect for them to be able to support the franchisees, and to ensure that they protect their business completely from people taking it away and running away from those businesses. So we're going to help you structure this correctly. I'm going to help you create the franchise model. And today's journey is about what model works for us, what can work perfectly for us, and which model we are going to use. How are we going to create this model for you? By the end of this workshop, I'm going to come and ask you the franchise model that we have developed for you, and whether you are completely convinced that yes, this model is perfect, the perfect solution for what you're looking at. I'm going to come back to you at the end of the day and ask you these questions for sure.
Yeah, I have one question basically. So while going through the questionnaires, I read a couple of questions which were not really easy to understand. Basically, like, what kind of like, is it a partnership, or is it a proprietorship, or is it a private company basically? So there are so many questions which we could not understand basically, and we really want your recommendation basically. So there are a couple of questions while and I specifically wrote that we need your recommendation basically.
Yes.
So it's not like we know everything from our, we know everything from our business basically, but we know, like, if we really need a private company, or if we really need a specific model for that actually. So there are so many questions for which I really I wrote that we really need your recommendation or input for this actually. So we are open for all these things. So don't get bothered, like we don't know anything about all these things that you are working on basically. So if you have any recommendation and if you have any inputs, we are definitely gonna honor that, because we don't know anything from this industry basically.
Yeah, surely. So that the Sparkle Minds franchise questionnaire is designed for entrepreneurs like you, is designed for businesses in India that are looking at expansion, and it is designed to help you understand what you know and what you don't know. The starting point is you should know what are the questions you don't know. Okay, in it's a paradox that I'm saying, but you should actually know what you don't know. And once you start knowing those unknowns, we start answering those unknowns. And I'm going to give you my recommendations. We'll give you very, very concrete solutions to every question that you have not been able to answer. There are a lot of questions in that questionnaire which a lot of entrepreneurs are not able to answer, and you are able to answer most of it from your own business experience. Most business owners are experts of their businesses, okay, but to be able to franchise, these questions are important. So we'll cover these questions. We'll try and answer most of these questions and give you the solutions that you need to be able to start franchising correctly. Once we set up the foundation, once you start franchising correctly, you are sorted. What they say, that's half the battle won. The other half of the battle is to ensure that we operate the franchisees correctly, make them successful. So we'll start this journey. We'll start this workshop. We'll start this entire exercise, and I'll come back to you at the end of the day and ask you more questions on how this entire journey has been and whether we've been able to answer all your questions. Thank you, Ajay. We'll take this workshop forward.
Sure.
Hi, we've just completed this workshop with Ajay, who's the co-founder of a very, very interesting brand called Holy Nail. Ajay, we've just had a very detailed discussion on the entire business model, and we've created the franchise model for you in terms of whatever you were looking at. I'd like to take your feedback from you in terms of how this workshop has been and your key takeaways from this.
Okay, great. Thank you, Amit. This workshop was very informative. I had so many questions in my mind basically, and the Amit's thoroughly Amit thoroughly answered all those questions basically. So it was really great talking to Amit, and getting the answers of all my questions basically, and this workshop was thoroughly informative to me as well. Thank you, Amit. Regarding your second question, the takeaways, I will say I'm able to understand the core concepts of the franchise, like basically what could be the model which is suitable to our business, and how are we gonna model everything basically. So I had so many questions related to the model and the cost and ROI and everything basically. So all those questions are now quite clear to me. So as of now, I don't have any questions. There could be multiple other questions as well, but we'll just cover everything in the second workshop once the documents and everything is shared by Amit. So those are the key takeaways, and what we achieved, I think, we achieved a transparency basically. So we achieved, like, everything is clear, everything is transparent to me now as of now. So in terms of the achievement, I'm at the same page basically. I'm thoroughly clear with all those things and concepts, and I had so much questions in my mind, and all those questions are clear.
Yes.
So thank
So
you.
again, now, see, you wanted to franchise Holy Nails, and there were certain apprehensions, in terms of how the franchises will work, whether they will do this business the way we are doing it, and whether they're going to execute the Holy Nails brand and the philosophy and the customer service that we are executing. Also, there were some points that you had from a point of view of how am I going to work with franchisees remotely? How the training is going to happen? How those things are going to happen? Does the path look clearer now? Are you much more confident that yes, Holy Nails can be franchised? Holy Nails franchisees will be successful.
Yes, I'm quite clear about like how this franchisee model is going to work and how I'm going to operate it remotely actually. So I mean, I definitely was very skeptical about the remote execution and everything basically, but the training part, the remote training part, and all those things actually made it very clear. So as of now, I don't have any doubts, or I don't have any questions, which is
yes.
remote execution.
Especially service businesses, the founders are very, very concerned whether the service is going to be executed properly by the franchisee. What if the franchisee dilutes my brand? What if something goes wrong? How am I going to actually control the entire execution of the business? So we've covered all of those points. I'm glad that we were able to cover a lot of ground, and we are going to come back again once we've given you the initial set of documents to have the second round of discussion, to be able to give you more clarity, to be able to set you up correctly, and hopefully we'll start recruiting franchisees who will become very, very successful. That's our end goal. We'll try and get there and get you there surely and successfully. Thank you so much, Ajay.
Thank you, Amit.